You can have a podcast pulling in 5,000 downloads an episode and still have no idea if a single one of your target accounts is actually listening. And that's the real problem most B2B brands have with their podcast. They're measuring with the wrong data. Here's the thing. Audience identity is the foundation everything else in a B2B podcast strategy is built on. Without it, you're guessing at content topics, you're guessing at sponsor value, you're guessing at ROI. And in front of leadership, only having guesses doesn't survive long. Knowing who's actually listening, the companies they work at, their job titles, their seniority, that's what turns a podcast from a content experiment into a measurable marketing channel. There are 4 pieces of audience data that change how you run a B2B podcast. First is company name. Are you reaching the companies that you sell to? Simple. This is also the data that connects podcast engagement back to your pipeline. Next, we have industry. Are the companies tuning in actually in the verticals your sales team is targeting? If yes, the podcast is doing its job. If not, your content is talking to the wrong audience. Then, job function. Are the specific listeners at the companies in the right department? Marketers listening to a podcast aimed at IT leaders isn't going to be beneficial. And finally, seniority. Are you reaching the decision makers at the companies and departments you're targeting? If the bulk of your listeners are senior, you're reaching the people who actually sign contracts. When you have those 4 data points, 3 things change. 1, you make smarter content decisions because you know who's on the other end. 2, you can connect podcast engagement back to pipeline performance, identifying target accounts that are listening or future ABM opportunities. And 3, when leadership asks if the podcast is working, you have an answer that involves true business impact, not download counts. This is what we built CoHost B2B analytics around: the companies, industries, and roles of the people listening to your show. Most podcast hosts tell you how many people heard your episode. We tell you who they were. If your brand has a podcast, or you're thinking about starting one, the question that matters most is who's listening. Get in touch if you want to see which companies are already tuning into your show.